Yeah, I just kept jiggling the handle, and finally the stream started populating. So welcome everyone in YouTube land. Chris here tonight is at the mic, the MC. We can't really call him a net controller because is this really a net? All right, Chris. Well, it's all yours when you're ready. Let me bring you up front and center.
There's a fifth dimension beyond that which is known to man. It's a dimension as vast as space and as timeless as infinity. It's in the middle ground between light and shadow, between science and superstition, and it lies between the pit of a man's fears and the summit of his knowledge. This is a dimension of imagination. It is an area which we call the 2-meter crew anti-net. Tonight we'll be live on the fastest growing amateur radio YouTube channel, Ham Radio TV, hosted by the newest YouTube sensation, KN6FAK. Just log into YouTube, search for Ham Radio TV, and you can find the live stream. Be sure that you subscribe so you don't miss any action in the future, and smash that thumbs up button. Jason, how are you tonight?
I am turning knobs and pushing buttons. Chris, good evening. Jason here, KM6FAK. Yes, we are live on YouTube, as he mentioned, so feel free to join us there. Tonight is going to be more of an open forum. We want to hear from every one of you out there, and I'm planning to put it in the Zoom. You'll see Zoom in chat in, 10, 15 minutes. We just got a few things to cover, but, if you're not close enough to check in with RF, you can just jump in our Zoom because we just want to get a discussion going tonight. So thanks a lot, Chris, for being the MC, and back to you. This is KM6FAK.
Fear not, single ladies. While it's true that Jason is spoken for, you're in luck tonight, as I will be acting as your anti-master of ceremony. I am N6CMB Chris in Clayton, California. Now, there's a rumor floating around that Nick, KN6DAL from Washington, hacked his way into this repeater. But in fact, we're actually lucky enough that the owners and supporters of the 6VVR actually let us come out here, meet every week, and enjoy our ham radio hobby. If you've got a chance, please be sure to thank every one of them. And maybe even consider becoming a member of the club. You don't even have to live in Vacaville. Before we completely take over the airwaves, if there's any priority traffic at any time, break in and we'll let you have an open frequency. Is there any traffic at this time? The 2-meter crew anti-net meets every Wednesday at 7 p.m. It's an open anti-net and everyone is welcome. Please feel free to join in. In fact, if you don't, we won't last long. We need you. If you live in the footprint of the all-powerful W6VVR repeater, you can tune in on 2 meters using the frequency of 145.470 with a negative offset of 600 kilohertz and a PL of 127.3. For those of you high-tech magicians out there on the interwebs and all things digital, you can get us on EchoLink at WG5EEK. We have an AllStar node, 51094. And even a DMR talk group, 314-9964. I want to thank Mike, WG5EEK, for the work he does to keep these magic boxes working. Mike, how are things in the lands of ones and zeros? You got anything in the works? Tell us what's going on.
All right, so let me make sure I got this. I am trying to work on a YSF room. So YSF is Yaesu System Fusion. I'm trying to link that to the DMR groups. They're all bridged together. So, and then that bridge to the repeater. So hopefully, eventually, we'll have another way to get into the repeater. But right now, for some reason, it's only one-way traffic. So if anyone has set one of those bridges up, please email me. I am good on cures. This is WG5EEK.
Thanks, Mike. I think the folks got it on YouTube and in the Zoom, but I'm not sure it made it over the repeater. We may have a little technical glitch going on there we got to work on. Let me move on, though. Today is Wednesday, September 30th in the year 2020. On this day in 1954, the world's first nuclear submarine, the Nautilus, was commissioned at Groton, Connecticut. Its nuclear reactor eliminated diesel engines, which previously limited the sub's range and speed. Nuclear power also eliminated diesel fuel storage spaces and periodic surfacing to recharge batteries. Nautilus was launched 21 January 1954 and could dive longer, faster, and deeper than any submarine before it. It was 319 feet long, 27-foot beam, and could dive to 700 feet, traveling at over 20 knots. It was crewed by 11 officers and 105 enlisted men. Nautilus continued to break records in 1958 as the first vessel to travel under the Arctic ice and cross the North Pole. Decommissioned in 1980, the sub was converted into a museum in 1985. The K-19, the first Soviet nuclear submarine, wasn't commissioned until 1960. The 2-meter crew is not an actual club. We're just a bunch of hams hanging out, learning, and enjoying all things ham radio related. There's no fees or dues to be a 2-meter crew member. For more info, a good place to check is 2MC on Facebook. Speaking of which, I always like to see if our one and only green donkey is out there. Derek, K6DJV, are you available tonight? All right, any chance, Nick, KN6DAL, you could step in and give us some numbers? What's going on over on the Facebooks?
Yeah, thanks, Chris. This is Nick, KN6DAL. I'm going to pause for just a second and find out why I'm feeding back. See if that's a little bit better. There we go. Yeah, this is Nick, KN6DAL, up in Everett, Washington. We have 268 members on Facebook, so there's quite a pool of people to talk to if you're looking for someone to chat with on your phone or on the computer or something. A little bit light the last couple of days, not a whole lot of new people jumping in, but there has been a few comments, and so if you guys are interested, feel free to check it out. Go to 2MC and enter in your call sign and the zip code that you live in, and we will get you signed in. Thanks, KN6DAL.
It would be great to see that number jump up to 300. I know we could do it if some of you guys join. I know some folks are a little nervous about being on the Facebooks, but the content's been really good. There's a lot of good stuff to check out, and I would recommend that even if you make an anonymous account over there, it's worth getting on and checking in and seeing what's going on 2MC. So, all right, let's talk about any planned events. Want to see if anything's coming up on the calendar. Is anybody going to be out there doing some simplex or jumping out on HF? Whatever you might have planned. Maybe your club's got something coming up. Please, anyone who we've got on the net or the anti-net, jump in now.
Hey, Chris, I'll throw something in here. KM6FAK. I got some kind of sad news real quick. Last week, everyone might have remembered. If not, I would go check it out. But we had Randy AA6RH on talking about APRS, and it was a very great presentation. But the very sad news: one of the Digipeater repeaters up there in Santa Rosa burnt down. So let's see. That was K6QXY-1. K6QXY-1. It burnt down about 1 a.m. Monday morning during that glass fire. So, I mean, that's crazy. We were just talking about that. We were just utilizing that last week. And, a lot of fires this year. So, hopefully, we hear some positive things out of this in a little bit. I'm sure a lot of us in the local area will help as much as we can to try and rebuild.
Thanks, Jason. Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of too many of these sad stories going on lately in our world in general. So, got to try to find some positivity out there. I'll note today I had to make a trip to HRO to pick up an antenna. I'm working on setting up a more directional antenna for getting on the net here to avoid some interference I get from another repeater on the same frequency. Unfortunately, I was a little late getting out of there, so I didn't get it set up tonight. But it is open, as in you can go inside now. They're limiting the number of people who can go in, but It was kind of nice to walk in and play with some knobs and, check out some radios, old school, regular like we used to. So that's the HRO in Oakland if anyone's interested in going over there. Anybody else got any planned events coming up? Anybody going to be doing anything fun with ham radio?
I got a quick announcement, if that's okay.
So ESW, speaking of interference, I'm looking on Jason's waterfall here, and I see the lines going across it. I'm not sure if it's someone else interfering with us or it's just random.
Good question. I don't know. We got something going on. It sounds okay to me on my end when I'm hearing you guys broadcast. Hopefully I'm coming through clear and we're not hitting any interference right now. You got some news for us. I understand that you have a new call sign.
Yes, I do. It is K0EFW. Previous, again, was KN6GZE. QRZ finally updated their database this morning. So I looked in there, and they also reset the grant date because apparently they do that with updated licenses.
I didn't know they did that. Very interesting. So, any story behind the letters that you happen to select? And are you jumping on by RF tonight, or are you coming in digital?
I am coming in through the EchoLink, and there's really no meaning to the letters in my call. I just kind of wanted something a little bit shorter and easier to say.
Now you have to learn your Morse code for that as well, huh?
But it should be pretty easy, though.
Oh yeah, totally easy. Yeah. All right. I'll take one more call for any ham activities going on out there before we move on.
I think Kevin might have had something.
Yeah. Is it my turn? Are you going to key the repeater for me, Jason?
Yes. Go ahead.
Thank you. More of just a general announcement. Everybody knows we meet here at 7 o'clock on Wednesday nights for the 2 Meter Crew Anti-Net. And next week we'll be here, but a week from tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, the Vaca Valley Radio Club meeting will be here at 7. And I just wanted to reiterate to those of you who might not know, you do not have to be a member. You can be a visitor and hang out with us, and that would be awesome if you choose to do so. Just want to throw that invitation out there. Everybody's welcome.
All right. And you know what? I'll share something as well since I have the hammer down here. I've got to get my video up. I apologize if you are RF only. But just about done with the radio in the Jeep. And the radio antenna I'm picking is a Diamond NR770HB. I'll type that in the comments here in a second. But anyways, let me read what this is. It's a 2 meter, 70 centimeter dual band, high power. It's a half wave, radioless mobile. And so it gives 3 dB on 2 meter. And 5.5 dB on 70 centimeter. And 5/8 wave on the 70 centimeter portion. Omnidirectional, of course. It's tilt over. I've been running this for quite a while on a mag mount. I run this on the back of an RV with an aluminum ladder. And now I'm putting it on the Jeep on an aluminum roof rack that's not even grounded very good. So there's two versions. There's an NMO, and then there's what they call the UHF, but it's just kind of like your regular 239, 259, if you will, as you see there. And you've got the pigtail curly Q about there, and she's just under 40 inches. Bought on Amazon, I don't know, 60 or so bucks. But I highly recommend this antenna. It works phenomenal, never lets me down, and you don't need ground. KM6FAK.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Jason. All right. right, let's move on with Help a Brother Out. Anybody have any questions for our Elmers or for the other hams, something you might need help with? Someone to balance your taxes for you, or whatever we can help with. Let us know right now, and we might not answer now. We might hold it off till the end, but we'll definitely find the right folks to give you a hand. What do you need out there, folks?
N6 MUE.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey guys, this is Brad, November 6th, Mike Uniform Echo, up here in Washington. Tonight in Monroe, Washington, probably about 10 miles from Nick up here. And if anyone's been following my sagas of RFI on the Discord, I actually got my ferrite rings and clamp-ons tonight and was experimenting with those and have had quite a bit of success, although the radio still won't go all the way up to 100 watts without power coming back on it. So my question is, I know I can put multiple clamp-ons on a coax to the antenna. Can I run multiple rings? Can I do multiple loops through multiple rings to that too? Or is that not going to do anything? Is one pretty much enough?
Could we find out a little more about your antenna system? What is your antenna system? Does your antenna system have a balun up at the feed point? And what is your coax and how long is it? And one more thing, what band is giving you the grief?
Okay, good questions. So it's 50-foot RG8X, and it was all bands that were giving me grief. And essentially the higher the frequency or the lower the band, the more power I could put out before I was running into any problems. That's still the case. On 40 meters, I can get up to about 75 watts before it starts coming back, and I'm trying to get 80 tuned up right now. But it's going to a Wolf River Coil Mini, and so unless there's a balun in there, I haven't attached one. So essentially, all it is the coax through a ferrite ring and then out to the antenna.
I didn't understand. What type of antenna is it?
It's kind of like a portable kit using a loading coil. Is that correct?
Yep, that's right. It's the Wolf River Coil Mini, so it's not their normal regular size coil. It's actually a miniature coil, and it's not supposed to be able to tune up, and I guess 80 is really not accurate. It's 75 meters, so 80 meter voice essentially. And the only reason why it's able to tune that up at all when you have all of the coil exposed is because it's got a 203-inch whip on it. So it's pushing it anyway, but it's pretty much any band, like I said, anything up above 75 watts, it starts coming back in.
Yeah. So this is a screwdriver type of antenna where you can extend it out. You have your 102-inch whip on the top of it, and you're feeding it with at the bottom of it with your RG8X. It might be beneficial to put a 1-to-1 balun at the feed point, but if that's not convenient to do, put a counterpoise. Try a counterpoise ground on the bottom of it. So, put like for 40 meters, put like a 30-foot piece of counterpoise off of it, and give it a shot, and then see if it behaves correct on 40 and 15 or 20 or something like that, and then give it a shot on 80, see what it does. RG8X on 75 meters at 50 feet is kind of not your friend. It's a quarter wavelength or really close to it, and that's going to do some weird stuff. So try but 50 feet on 40 meter band should be fine. and just try to just experiment. Get a piece of copper wire, hook it to the ground side of the antenna, and just throw it out there as a counterpoise and see if that helps, because it sure sounds like your RF is just coming back on the shield of your cable and getting into your shack. So you can also clamp some of those beads right there at the base of the antenna where the feed line goes in, and try and chop some of that stuff coming off down to coax right there too. Maybe you get lucky and the counterpoise will help balance the system out, and not as much RF energy will go back on the shield of your coax and bother you in your shack. Those are just a couple things to try. It might fix it, and I haven't seen your system, and it might not, but certainly doesn't hurt to try.
I appreciate it. And yeah, it actually does come with 3 radials. It's got three 33-foot radials coming off of it. If I remember correctly, they're 33 feet. So that's kind of integrated into the antenna. So I'll look into the balance thing, and then also look at, like you said, I'm just kind of experimenting at this point, and putting these clamp-ons in different places and running rings in different places. And I just ran into a little bit of an issue where I was just wondering if, the more the merrier as it comes to the rings, or if it comes to a point where I need to start looking in a different direction. So I won't take up any more time on the net, and if you can count me as a check-in, Chris, that'd be really cool. In November 6th, Mike Uniform Echo, and I'll be clear for now. Thank you.
Outstanding. Kevin, thanks for the help. A little direction there for something to try. A lot of those Wolf River antennas starting to float around. I see quite a few guys giving those a try and having some great success. So if anybody's checking out, some different portable antennas, those Wolf Rivers seem to have some options that guys are really interested in. Anyone else out there looking for a little help? Maybe you need to put up a tower or bury a body in the backyard. What's your need? All right, I won't beat the dead horse. We're going to go ahead and go through a couple of check-ins tonight. Instead of starting with always the new guys, brand new, do we have any of our 2-meter OG hanging out there? All right, well, how about EchoLink? Anyone on EchoLink? Let's have you check in.
This is Kane6BVX, Tony out in Folsom. I'm not on EchoLink, and I'm not an OG, I'm just new, and just wanted to say hi, and thank you for the invitation to the net, DJ, and yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks for checking in, and heard you out there earlier talking with the guys, I think, over on the 3-3, so good to hear you out here tonight and have you as part of the group, and let's move on. We got anybody else looking to check in? Any digital check-ins outside EchoLink or other? Looking for those digital folks.
Well, before you get on to that there, Chris, does OG, could I qualify as old goofballs, OG?
Me too. I ran down here as quick as I could.
Well, you two definitely have the old part down. I don't know about the G, but you got the O, so let's go ahead. We'll start with Mitch, and then we'll head to Auburn.
Well, thank God, Chris, because, old G, the only thing that came to mind was old goofball, and darn it, I missed my chance and everything. Anyway, Chris, thanks, buddy. And howdy, Rob. Just saying. Nick, the rest of the crew, Mike, I can see up there. Jason, dear God, who else is out there? Anyway, and I just want to say to Ryan, congratulations, buddy. Everybody out here is proud of you, and you're a screaming example of what a young man should be doing in productive part of his life. And my hat's off to you, bud, Ryan, and I really like your call sign. With that, I don't have a whole heck of a lot more. Just wanted to say, flying out loud. That's all I got, folks. Good to hear y'all. WUOQ, Mitch in the San Francisco Bay Area.
WU1Q N6CMB. Hey, Mitch, do you post any of your drone videos on YouTube, or is that strictly a Facebook?
Well, Chris, to be honest with you, the goofball part's true because I don't really know how to do that. So, yeah, it's just on Facebook until I can figure that all out. Then, yeah, probably doesn't take a whole heck of a lot, but something I'm working on. But answer your question, no, it's on Facebook. But if anybody's at all interested, I could certainly work on that a little harder. But yeah, thanks for asking, Chris. And if you want to look, it's just the flights I do just gives everybody an idea what the Bay Area looks like with all these fires and smoke from hour to hour. It's just disgusting. But anyway, thanks, Chris. Back to you, sir.
Look at that. ICOM 705.
Yeah, with any luck, we might get Mitch to get those up there. They're really great videos. He's been doing it throughout the this whole period of fires. So it's like a documentary to see the skies over the Bay Area, and his vantage point up on the hill over there is amazing. He's a bit humble about his flying skills. They're getting really great. So be good to see more from him in the future. How about Rob in Auburn? We are graced with the presence of our Auburn assassin.
I was just going to say that Mitch said doo-doo. I heard him. You probably did too. And speaking of fires, there's a big old borate stripe on the ridge that's right behind me. So, looking out the back side of my garage, it goes down and it comes up on the other side, and there's a big borate stripe from today. Small fire. Luckily, they got it under control. No worries there. Congratulations, Ryan. Congratulations, Nick. I know you always said you couldn't do it, but I'm glad that, you pressed on. And other than that, I'm just doing a quick check-in. KM6YKX Rob from Auburn.
Nick.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for jumping in. Who else we got out there? We'll go one more time for digital modes, and then we'll jump on the repeater and see who's on the VVR.
It'd be Greg from Calgary, VA6GKT, Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Fantastic. Always good to get a check-in from north of the border. How are you guys holding up in there, up in the Great White North?
Well, we're actually having a fairly fantastic fall. Excuse the expression, but it's for us older people, it's known as an Indian summer. So we're not complaining, enjoying the weather, and there are a few fires west of us, but they don't seem to be affecting us at all. So, and thankfully, from my understanding, is they are all under control. So, up here anyways. So we're doing pretty good. Thanks very much. And just a shout out as well. I heard earlier you were saying when you were looking up in this on YSF on Fusion. That'd be great. It'd be another way I'll be able to check in.
Yeah, that's something that Mike's working on. I think that's going to be great if he gets it up and going. So the Stanley Cup is settled. It must get boring in Canada after hockey season ends.
Actually, the hockey season here for the juniors is just getting going, really. So, quite frankly, that's the more interesting hockey to watch in a way. So, the AAAs and the Bantams and the juniors, they're all going right now hardcore. So it's that's a lot more interesting to watch than NHL.
Fantastic. Hey, thanks for checking in. We love getting folks from a ways away. It really adds to the flavor of our little get-togethers here. All right, wide open. I'll take anyone on the VVR. I'll take anyone who wants to check in. Who's out there tonight?
KN6, HOK.
The Colonel, HLK. How are you, young man? Good to hear from you. What do you got cooking in the ham radio world?
Okay, you have an announcement. There's a new ham called KN6LBP, Lima Bravo Papa. He's up there located up in Point Line, and his name is JR, and he's on another net tonight, but he's going to replay this here. I'd like
I'd like to wish him congratulations for his new license.
Yeah, thanks, Colonel. We heard JR on the air here this week, and it was good to hear a new ham out there. It seems like he's going to be a great addition to the gang. So I don't know if you inspired him to get his license and get on the air. If you did, well done. Great to have another guy out here, part of our little world. Who else is out there looking to check in tonight?
Yeah, Chris in the group, Kilo November 6th, Bravo XRXA, Michael from you know where. Carmichael. Thanks again for doing a great net, guys. Jason and Nick and the rest of the gang. Great net as always. Take care. I'll be listening.
Hey, Michael, I'm surprised you didn't have anything. No upcoming club events from in your world there. I know your club's pretty busy, even though it's a small club.
Thanks for asking. Yeah, we did the simplex test on Monday night, though I kind of stayed at I did an in and out check, but apparently it did okay. Hopefully by the next simplex test in October, hopefully I'll finally get my diamond antenna that's attached to my chimney in the back, finally get my cable fed through the attic. I was almost done with it today, but I had to get a new drill bit, so crawl back up the attic soon and finish the job, and hopefully I'll come in and sing like a bird. Thanks, Ed, for asking. We're doing okay. Next net's tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Usually KI6NJ will handle it, but anyone's got questions about our net or our club, look at k6is.org, kilo6indiasir.org. Thanks again, Chris. Take care. 7-3s.
Michael, this is the perfect time of year to be up in the attic. You know, those 100, 102 degree days. Get up there and start drilling some hole and dragging some wire, you know.
Yeah, I know. It's starting to get a little warm this morning. I wear long sleeves and long pants up there. I was sweating bullets, and I was just exhausted by the time I got up there. I was talking to Sandy earlier, KN6GST, and I compared it to a short spacewalk. Man, short and sweet. Boy, you're done for the day. Thanks again, Chris. Good net, KN6BXX.
Looking for check-ins. Come on, everyone.
K6FNX.
6FNX, N6CMB. Welcome.
Well, thank you, Chris and the net, and everybody else out there, way out there, over the border there in Canada and wherever else is listening there. Good hearing everybody out there. And hello, Nick up north there. And congratulations to the new hams. Well, anyways, I'm going to turn it back over to you because there's probably quite a few other ones there trying to get checked in there, so keep it short and sweet. So have a good evening, Chris and the net. K6FNX 73.
Absolutely, always a pleasure to hear from FNX. Who else is out there looking to check in? Come now.
K0 ESW.
PQ.
A little bit of a digital hang. Doo-doo-doo. We're sorry. We cannot place the call as dialed. KM6FAK.
I think we got a double there. There might have been someone coming in through one of the digital modes, so I'm going to open it up first for the potentially the digital, and then I think Ryan was in there. Ryan, hold off one. Let's see if we get one check-in before you, then we'll take you.
N6 Kilo Victor, Klamath Falls.
Klamath Falls, N6CMB. How are you this evening? How's everything up north? I'll go one more time. Klamath Falls, you made it in. Just want to check in, see if you had anything for the net. All right, we'll see if we come back to Klamath Falls maybe down the road. Ryan, was that you trying to sneak in there for a double check-in?
CW.
Your audio is light, but I can hear you. Go ahead.
Ryan, did you just wake up?
So I'm looking at the topic here, why are repeaters quiet? And in my opinion, I think because everyone's on HF these days, you know, all the contests coming up, and I think in October there's the California QSO party. So you know, that's coming up, and you know, everyone's on HF these days, and no one's on VHF, UHF, unless, you know, someone's got to be listening.
Yeah, but Ryan, the bands are dead. Nobody's out on HF because the bands are dead. So why wouldn't they jump on good old VHF and UHF and hit those local repeaters?
Well, it's like, I know like a recent geomagnetic storm just hit, so of course, you know, the bands technically kind of are dead. But you know, everyone's on FT8, everyone's on phone 20 meters and 40 meters, and CW 20 and 40, sometimes 80. And nobody really wants to hop over here because there's going to be no one here, and they always, and you know, they can run high power on HF, and you know, they don't always want to, you know, you don't want to run high power on VHF, UHF, and you know, they know that no one's going to be there.
You raised some good points. So, yeah, we jumped the gun a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and head over to our kind of topic for tonight. We'll continue with any check-ins. If anyone's out there and wants to keep checking in as the night goes, as you know, it's the anti-net. There's no formal rules, so check in when you want, if you want. So, yeah, repeaters. We got a bunch of them here in the Bay Area, like a whole bunch of them. And I don't know if you guys are like me, but I've got like 300 repeaters programmed into my mobile rig in my truck, and I go out there and I put it on scan, and I drive all over the place figuring I'm going to hear somebody, and it's just dead quiet. Nobody's on all these repeaters. So I just want to know, like, why? What's going on? Why are these repeaters so dead? And then you find a couple that are pretty active. So what makes them so special? What's getting people on board there? So I'd like to hear from you. What repeater do you think is dead but should be busy? And what repeater do you like hanging out on to rag chew or jump on a net? Anything is open topic.
As Zen 6 Kilo Victor, the app froze up on me. So I got to call it. Zen 6 Kilo Victor, the app froze up on me. So I got to call it. And it's quiet up here. We got a little smoky from fires and whatnot, but it's cool.
Bobby, we got a good read on you now. Thanks for jumping in there. What do you guys have up your way for repeaters? Are the repeaters busy in your neck of the woods?
Yeah, we have quite a few repeaters. We don't have any DMRs. We have quite a few repeaters. We don't have any DMRs.
You're going to want to mute YouTube.
What is it? There's a couple of mountains that we got repeaters. We got one in Keno that transmits, and one transmits towards Klamath Falls. So, one in Keno that transmits, and one transmits towards Klamath Falls.
Yeah, you want to mute. You want to make sure you mute YouTube when you fire up the radio. Otherwise, we'll have that loop, as we heard.
Yeah, I was having a loop with the YouTube.
Yep.
I didn't get it quite shut off, but it is now.
Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that, guys. This app keeps screwing up on me on the Android. I think I'll go to my iPad.
It's all right. When you're coming through, it's coming through loud and clear, so I appreciate you jumping in there. I don't know if we kept Mitch or Rob from Auburn on. Those two guys can often be found on a local repeater here. Our beloved 33 might be considered one of the busier repeaters, but I know they often go elsewhere. So any of you two older fellers still out there? Boy, they go to bed early, those guys, I'll tell you. All right, moving on. Anyone else out there? How come these repeaters are so quiet? Maybe we'll go to Jason. Jason, this is a topic that you kind of chatted about with a few of us, and I think you had some thoughts on it.
Okay, yeah. KM6FAK. So, I've been around since 2016 a little bit, and, we got a few repeaters in this area that are great. This one right here that we're on. The other one there on Mount Diablo, and, probably another 5 more at least. And what I find sometimes is they're all quiet except maybe 1 or 2, but what will get them going is just 1 or 2 people. So you almost have to create that momentum. And I'm not sure if people just don't know what to talk about, or maybe there's somebody that will jump on them right away. They know there's like a radio lurking bully, if you will. I've kind of experienced that a little bit, where after a while you don't even key up because you don't want that person to come back, and that person might always be there because they have nothing else to do. But then switching gears a little bit, there's another repeater, and it kind of reminds me of a train wreck, but it's constantly crashing. And because there's always so much traffic, it's intriguing. You can't help to look. There's things in there you like and you want to talk on and jump in. And before you know it, that repeater goes, 18 hours out of the day. So I find it very fascinating because sometimes I hear frustration. Let's say if everyone's hanging out at the train wreck. Recently, we've been kind of plagued with some jammers, and there's other repeaters for other people to use. So, what I'm trying to do and recommend is come up with a strategy, a channel 1, a channel 2, a channel 3. Never talk about what those frequencies are, but tell all your closest ham radio friends what is these channels, so you could simply throw out, hey, KM6FAK going to channel 2. And before you know it, you'll give some life to other repeaters if you find yourself listening to something that you don't want to. But quite honestly, I don't know. These are just thoughts and ideas. I'm curious to hear from everyone. I do have a Zoom link. I'll post it again in the chat, so feel free to jump in, and we can keep going on this. And we'll talk about technical stuff. I'm going to try to get to Richard's question. He gave me quite a paragraph we'll try to get to later tonight. So back to you, Chris.
Yeah, Jason, it's interesting you talk about, the welcome or not welcome you get sometimes when you join a repeater and try to talk. And I'm talking about one of my negative experiences with the WIN system. I like that system. I've talked to a few guys on there, really enjoyed it, but almost every time that I've, kind of keyed up on there, it's almost like the WIN police are waiting, and some guy, wants to say, oh, do you know that this is the WIN system you're keying up on? And, sure I do, And, it's blah, blah, blah. It almost makes you think you've made some kind of mistake, that you're using it. And, I've read all of their, websites and understand what the rules are. And they don't discourage rag chewing. They're okay with folks talking on there, but they just have some basic courtesy rules to follow. But there's a certain number of guys out there that seem to want to, police it and not make you feel welcome when you join on. And it's too bad because it's a very cool system with a lot of repeaters, and I think it could get, a little more activity and use if folks felt more welcome when they arrived there. Go ahead, comment.
Yeah, this is Tony, KN6BVX over in Folsom. I have to agree with you, Chris. I've only been a ham for a little over a year, and I remember when I first became a ham, I'd jump on a couple of repeaters, and people would be like, kind of, oh, this is the so-and-so repeater, this is a so-and-so repeater, you shouldn't be on here, or maybe like, oh, this is, not a rag-chewing repeater. And young guys like myself, I'm only 41, I just want to jump on here and, just have fun, just rag chew pretty much. And that's what I've noticed is the big difference between digital and just your regular, analog repeater type stuff is, you go on a digital, you have like groups and stuff. It's like, this is a rag chewing repeater, or this is a so-and-so repeater, whereas with the old school, what we're used to is you jump on there, you try and talk, and you get someone to tell you, hey, beat it, because this isn't a rag chewing repeater, which is kind of sad, because you want to invite more and more people to the realm of the hobby, but sometimes it's a little difficult with those old crusty guys for sure.
Hey, and I get it, right? Some of these, like the Carla system, they really set it up for, emergency type stuff and sort of communications when there's a time in need. They don't want it to be rag chewing, and they make that clear, and I'm totally cool with that. They're invested in it. There's certain parts of that system that are up on solar, and they want to be careful about power, getting dragged down by long conversations. So, you respect the repeater owners and their network, but when you go on a site that says it's welcome that you can have conversations, well, let's have some conversations. Who's got anyone out here in the Bay Area got a repeater that they think is just dormant all the time, but it's a really, rock solid repeater that we probably should be using more often?
I have a comment when it's my turn.
Hey, Fred, are you out there tonight? W1FRD N6CMB, calling for Fred.
Hey, Chris, Kevin had something too when you circle back around.
Across a 6-meter repeater that was over in Oakland, and we started chatting on it a little bit. This other jumped on there. He was the nicest guy, but he was just shocked that anybody else was on there. He says, I listen every day, and nobody ever comes on this repeater. And, we started using that one a little bit. It was kind of fun. Anyone else with some thoughts on what makes a good repeater, and what gets folks out there and active, and, what could maybe get your local repeater more active?
I'm going to key in Kevin here. All right, go ahead, Kevin.
Thanks, Jason and Chris. This is Kevin, N6VLF. I happen to be the president of the Vacaville Radio Club, and I just wanted to key in a little bit or comment on this topic. The Vacaville Radio Club, the repeater we are using right now, we like to consider it a open family repeater. And what that means is anybody's welcome. You can rag chew on it, and it's okay to get on it on your way to and from work, on your break at work, and chat with your family or your friends during the day. It's okay to get on it and talk ham radio and your projects, whether it be ham radio or not. All we ask is you're polite, and in between when you're pushing the button on your radio, you leave about a second. So when you unkey, if there's emergency traffic or priority traffic, somebody can say, I have priority traffic. And you just say, okay, go ahead. Because the reality of it is, I don't want to put a percentage to it because I don't know. But the reality of it is, most of the time, there isn't emergency traffic. There isn't anybody on our repeater monitoring to see if you talk too much. The only thing we want or would request is that people are polite to each other and welcome other individuals on our repeater, which is a giant party line, basically, to join in on the conversation. And in my mind, a good example is the other station. You said you were one of the younger people that I think you said you're around 40, 41 years old. So yeah, you're just a kid, but that's okay. Chime in and just, and you'll hear me occasionally. If I'll wait in between some of these quick keyers, I'll just say hello, and they'll say, whoa, someone said hello. And then you go, yeah, that was me. And you ID and you say, hey, I just heard you talking, and join in. And I encourage people to do that. Now, not every conversation is for everybody, but certainly we always have people listening. And I think this long dissertation is quite simply to invite you newer people, young and old, that are listening, that would like to talk on your brand new radio. Please do it. Please push the button and say hello. And if there's somebody that said something to you that you disagreed with, you don't have to talk to them. Come back later and try again. So come on, you can hang out here on our repeater. You can hang out on the 3.3. You can hang out wherever you want. And I want to encourage you guys on the UHF, VHF stuff to play with your brand new radios, learn how to use them, and chat with them. Because quite frankly, when I'm driving around listening, and I listen a lot more than I talk on the repeater, which is it's hard to believe, huh, Jason, that I actually listen that much. But and Nick's cracking up, falling out, and Chris is going to fall out of his chair. But it's true, and it's okay for you guys to talk. It really is. It really is. So please do it. Please do it. And that's pretty much it.
And while I have it all keyed down still, this is KM6FAK with N6 VLF.
Oh yeah.
You know, I have a few different techniques I've kind of picked up, and quite honestly, it's not written down, so you're not breaking any rules other than you need ID.
Talk really slow, because I'm going to write it down right now.
Oh, okay. All right.
Go ahead.
So the way I like to do it is sometimes in the heat of the moment, I will quick key and tailgate. So in other words, I anticipate the last word someone's going to use, and I'm already hammered down talking. But I'll make a mental note, only do that once or twice, because I'm just trying to exchange my point real quick. Maybe it's heated, maybe I really have got something to share, but then I will try my hardest to leave that pregnant pause longer than you think you need to. It almost feels awkward, but I've found if you leave that awkward pose, it's almost like someone is sitting up out of their chair, and they're like, oh, you know what? Let me join this conversation. And then with that, I've also noticed there's a lot of ways to try to join a conversation. Again, there's like the extremely polite way, which saying I have a question, I have a comment, or you can also just insert your question, break for a second, they'll acknowledge, you'll give your call, and it's very much more fluid, if you will, than saying comment or break, because at the same time, if you are just rag chewing, you can just kind of jump in there politely. Again, these are multiple different ways. If you have no idea who these people are, or if you fear that they're mean, obviously, you can definitely decide how to go about things. But just know there's no wrong way.
Right.
Just treat the people on the other side like you want to be treated. You know, I believe they call that the golden rule. And a big thanks to Nelson Reyes for the $5 super chat. KO4HKL. That's awesome. Right on. I'm going to unkey the repeater.
I have one more. Unkey.
Oh, okay.
Put it back. I got one more comment.
Oh,
tail
boy.
on what you said. Let me know when we're back.
All right, we're back.
We're back. To those of you, the old timers and the people that are long-winded, such as myself, hey, take a moment, unkey, and let the folks in. Now, you new folks out there, when you have that opportunity, I want to explain something to you that it's real. You don't have much to say, but you want to talk on your radio. And there's somebody who's in an in-depth conversation talking about whatever it is they're talking about, but you don't know anything about what they're talking about. And then you wait for the pause and you just say, comment. And then your comment is, wow, it's a really nice day today. How are you guys doing? Okay. So, that sometimes by some of the old timers and even some of the new people, they're going, well, you didn't have anything to add for the conversation. So what I do is I wait for those people and anybody else who chimes in that is relevant to that particular conversation. Then they're over, and then I'll just say hello, or I'll throw my call out there and say, hey, how you guys doing? And then we start talking about nothing forever. So I don't know. That's kind of my thoughts on that, Jason. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, it's all good stuff. And as far as stirring more traffic up on repeaters, I've noticed one technique an individual uses over on 3.3. You can just simply talk to yourself for a while, and people will come and join you.
Yeah. And I gotta say,
hey Chris.
Here he is.
Hey, Fred.
Hey, Fred.
I knew you might be out there. Now I got to remember what I was calling you about.
You wanted to talk about the 6-meter repeater that Reed runs down there in the Oakland Hills.
Yeah, you don't remember any of the details on that repeater, do you?
52620, I believe.
It's a good little repeater. We poked around, and that one fella was on there kind of waiting around. And, to Jason's point, it's kind of like the simplex calling frequencies, If you don't call, probably nobody's going to answer. Someone's got to be the one to get on there and call CQ. The same goes for some of these quiet repeaters. Sometimes you just got to be the guy who's willing to jump on there and make a couple of hollers and see who's listening. And surprise, surprise, there's a lot of guys out there listening, and they'll jump in a lot of times. So don't be afraid to call out when it's quiet.
Yeah, Chris, and the anti-net, that's kind of my thing that Jason was talking about, talking to yourself. I do that on on Simplex. I'll, talk for a while, because people have it on scan, and they'll pick me up eventually. I tell them my setup, where I'm at, where I'm headed, how many calls, how many Simplex calls I got for the day, whether they're going to be my first one or my third one.
Yeah, and Fred, I know you were always good about just kind of queuing up and letting people know you're on frequency when it's quiet. Sometimes that's all it takes, when you jump in your rig, you just throw it out there, N6CMB, mobile in Clayton.
She's like, W1FRD, I'm mobile, I got my 50 watts and a mag mount, and looking for my first contact. Oh, you're my third contact, sir.
Fred, you got to teach me how to sing my call like you, though, man. It's so distinctive how you drop your call.
Fred, we were congratulating folks out here tonight that had raised licenses and that sort of stuff. I don't know if you mentioned on the anti-net yet that you've got a new ham in your house.
Yeah, my 14-year-old, he decided he'd take his technician test. He studied up for 2 weeks and took him down to Concord BART, and he passed. His call sign is KN6LAT. Question.
Fantastic. I don't know who thinks ham radio's dead. We got an awful lot of new hams coming on. Talking a little bit about etiquette, I know one of the things when you do switch over to a busy repeater, or one that that's fairly busy, one of the simple things that I wish folks would do more often is just listen for a few seconds, and make sure that there isn't already a big conversation going on. Because, just like the very low frequency Kevin was talking about, guys will be chatting away, they'll be in the middle of, talking about something, and next thing you know, I just jump in there and I'm like, hey, N6CMB, I just got a sandwich, and it's a salami.
Question.
HLK, go ahead.
Roger. My question is for Jason. Where do you get your hat?
Do you really have a sandwich, Chris? Because I'm kind of hungry.
I did not. Where did I get my hat? I don't have a hat on tonight, do I? I just got fluffy hair. I got a bad haircut going, a COVID haircut. Does someone else got a cool hat on?
I think that was for me.
He's wearing the hat. I like the emblem on the hat.
So yeah, we have a hat question. So this is a limited edition patch, and we need to get Justin to get more made. But I do like the hat, and the hat is a Condor, Condor, and this is what the military is wearing now. You can put your name here. There's no top piece, so quite honestly, I hit my head crawling around the car working on it or whatever. I really like these. They're super soft, and they breathe well. Amazon's got them, or if you know someone, in the armed forces, maybe one will fall off the truck.
All right, I want to go out one more time at least and see if anybody else got some comments about repeaters, repeater etiquette. Why are the repeaters quiet? Why are they so busy?
KN6GY Eric from Sacramento here.
Hey Eric, it's a pleasure to have you out here tonight. How are you, young man?
Doing great. Oh, thanks for the compliment there, young man. I'm 55 now and I keep forgetting, which is probably a good thing. I like the comment there the president mentioned, we're on topic. I run into this a lot of times and somebody will come in and come off from left field with something and just totally distract the whole conversation and the momentum of it. And then to try to butt in and come back around to it and try to finish up the conversation that you're having and come to some kind of conclusion is almost impossible. It gets a little frustrating. Everybody has a voice, and I understand they want to throw their points or their opinions in, but ultimately I'd like these conversations to complete and come to a final, so something actually took place and you can take something and walk away with it, but I've been getting a little frustrated with that lately. I confess I'm a frustrated ham radio operator here.
Now, Eric, you are talking about conversations on the repeater and not the presidential debate last night.
Not go there, because I promised I wouldn't talk about politics, so no, we're still good. We'll keep it unheated.
No, and I remember when you and I were just getting our licenses, Eric, around the same time and getting going with radios. You would come in with a question sometimes and get frustrated because, one, you'd get nobody kind of paying attention, even if you were, courteous about jumping in, or you'd get 10 people trying to answer at once. It can be tough, communicating by radio sometime with short attention span hams.
Copy that. It's always a gamble when you come out with a question. I knew that every time, especially you say tech question, I can barely get those two words off my lips out sometimes, but I just have to do it. Humble myself and get everybody's opinion and go from there. I mean, that's what it's about. That's the one thing I've learned about ham radio is I thought I was humble, but I'm not.
Thanks for joining in tonight, Eric. I really appreciate it. Who else is out there looking to talk about repeaters? Anybody that we missed?
I had another comment, Chris. I'll make it quick. Somebody else is there too, I think.
All right, Kevin, take it away.
Oh, really quick, along the lines of the, somebody chiming into a conversation, and it takes a while to get around to the, to conclusion of that conversation. Yeah, I feel you, but I also want to just let everybody just ponder this for a moment. And I'm gonna use a friend of mine's name. I normally don't do this, but he's so good at recognizing other people in the conversation. Bruce N6THN is very good at that, and he's just such a polite person. And he and I get into some conversation sometimes, and I'm and a couple of the other fellas that like to do some engineering and things of that nature, and we'll be talking about stuff. And an example will be, maybe we'll be talking about feed line or something, and we'll be using words like return loss and velocity factor. And then, one time Bruce and I got off onto a topic. I don't even know why. We were talking about Schottky diodes and tunnel diodes and which one was the, fastest and all this kind of stuff. And I think it was Bruce that said, hold on a second. There's other people out there, and we need to take a breath. Hey, is anybody listening and want to talk about something different, or maybe even have a question about what we're talking about, because you don't know what it is? So anybody else? And then sometimes we get crickets, and sometimes we get folks chiming in. Hey, what's return loss mean? And then, we'll explain it. So sometimes the long-winded conversations amongst two or three people is fine. Just leave some room in there so that somebody can ask a legitimate question, because my opinion, just so everybody knows, I'm an expert on my own opinion. My opinion is that ham radio in many instances is all about learning about the hobby, which includes different levels of electronics and mechanical things. And some of you folks out there are just have wonderful minds and have a vast knowledge bank that can be shared with others. And sometimes that break takes for lack of a better word, a newbie, shares some information with them and sparks that interest in them. And then 6 months from now, they're involved in your conversations. And so it's, in my opinion, it's a learn one, do one, and teach one. And we keep doing that in the hobby is to the best of our ability. So it's kind of a delicate balance. Let's include people. But like I said, if they're talking about stuff like that, you might want to wait to talk about the weather. That's all. N6 VLF, back to you, Chris.
Perfect.
Hey,
Right.
thanks for that insight, Kevin. I think that's great stuff. I just realized that Nick hasn't chimed in on this topic, and I know he has some thoughts on it. Nick is the mastermind behind the Northwest Ham Shack, which is another fantastic YouTube channel. I definitely recommend that you subscribe if you want to get some great activity from up there in the Northwest. So, Nick, KN6DAL, what are your thoughts on this?
Hey, thanks, Chris. This is Nick, KN6DAL. I moved up here, so I'll tell you just a brief little backstory about repeater usage. So I'm a relatively new amateur radio operator. I've had my license for about a year and a half, and I've upgraded since then. But when I first got my ticket, I was about 75 miles away from the 3.3, which is a repeater that a couple of you have mentioned. And I had a little rubber ducky on a bow thing, and I could hit the repeater, but I could hear it, and I could hear what people were saying. And it's a super active repeater in the Northern California area, and I just landed on it by accident. And so I heard, I started knowing these people before I could even really talk to them, and that pushed me to want to build better antennas and learn about how I could reach this repeater. And so that's how I started my conversations with people was there. I looked around, and every other repeater I found was relatively dead, kind of like what we're talking about. And when I moved up here, I found kind of the same thing. There's one repeater in kind of the Seattle area that's super active all the time. There's a lot of traffic on it, and it's honestly a pretty low-level repeater. Doesn't have great coverage. It's got linked inputs, so you can actually get into it much better than you can receive at times. And there's a ton of other repeaters. There's actually one that's probably about 20 miles away from me that's just got amazing coverage, and it's just crickets all the time. So what I've done, and I don't do it all the time, but I do have a couple of people that I know up here that are amateur radio operators, and we will pick out some of those repeaters and just get on them and start talking. And a couple people have mentioned this. That can drive the conversation. If you just start having a conversation, talk about what you're doing, how your day was, maybe talk about a different antenna setup, that can drive that conversation to that repeater. And if you do that time and time again, it just starts building enthusiasm for it. So I'll mimic a little bit about what Kevin said, was if you're new and you have a radio, just chime in at some point. I've found that probably 90% of the ham radio operators that I've come in contact with and met through a repeater system have been more than welcoming to new ham. So if you're new and you're afraid to talk, or you don't know if you have anything relevant to input, who cares? Just get on the air, say something, say, hey guys, I don't really have a whole lot to add to this conversation. My name's such and such, this is my call sign, I'm relatively new, And I just really like what you guys have to say. And see where the conversation goes. I think you'll find that more often than not, the people are super welcoming to have new people jump in. And they're going to ask you questions, and they're going to find out about you. And then you can network of people that want to help you grow and help you learn. So I think this is an awesome topic. I do think that there could be more chatter out there, but it's up to each and every one of us to find a buddy, pick a repeater that doesn't have any traffic on it, get on it, and just start talking and see what happens. You might find that you're the person that drives the conversation to that repeater. So with that, that's all I got. I appreciate you calling on me, and I appreciate everybody for jumping out. And thank you, Jason, for all the work that you put into streaming tonight. And thanks for everybody's input. And thank you, Mike, for putting all of the digital amazing things that you do that nobody really quite understands exactly, but we try. You guys are all awesome, so I appreciate it. A great group of people that has helped me quite a bit. So with that, I will shut my mouth. KN6DAL.
All right, well, we're a little after 8, and that's about the time we normally start heading for the Zoom room. We do have, I believe, the Zoom information out on the YouTube now, so it's time to go ahead and log in. Feel free to not share your video, but it'd be great to have you in there and talk a little bit about ham radio, because we get all kinds of crazy conversations going on the Zoom after we close down here on the air. Before I close out with my closing quote tonight, I'm going to pump it over to Jason for any last-minute comments before we leave the air.
All right. There's always so many things I need to do. KM6FAK. Yeah, heading over to Zoom. Links are there. Don't forget, guys, we're here on the repeater every Wednesday at 7. For the most part, it's right here on Ham Radio TV. If you're in RF land, this is a YouTube channel. That's where we're kind of bringing to life the theater of the mind we normally play with radio. And as we mentioned before, if we are not on this YouTube channel, we will be on Nick's, and that's up there in Northwest Ham Shack. And that's because he's in the Northwest. I didn't even know that was a thing until recently. I now know why he calls it Northwest. So it's great having a group and a producers. I want to say producers, and there's so many ways to produce the show. I said this last week, and I think this is a theme I'm going to keep going with. If you want to get more involved and help out with the show, let any of us know. We're a lot of us are in Discord. The links are in the details. We'll drop some links in the comments. But if you want to bring a topic, if you want to come on and share whatever, if you want to run a net, we're completely open to it all. It's great to have this amazing community and just to share it, because this is for hams by hams, and this is KM6FAK.
Fantastic. All right, we're going to get ready to wrap it up on the air here tonight. Before I press all the secret buttons to turn the repeater back over to normal operation, I'm going to throw out a little quote from President Andrew Jackson. Any man worth his salt will stick up for what he believes is right, but it takes a slightly better man to acknowledge instantly and without reservation that he was in error. All right, guys, thanks as usual. A great net from our side. I'm really happy for everyone who participated. Hope to see you back here soon. And please, think about joining us over in the Zoom room.
I like that hat. Late check-in, KI6UNF.
Hey, Sal, how are you? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. I was kind of sandbagging there and got in too late here. I apologize, but I do want to check in. KI6UNF.
Again, 6HK, check in. Also, I love that hat.
Thanks, Colonel, for the comment on the hat. Thanks for the check-in. Good to have you here tonight. Please make sure you bring JR out here one night with us if we can get him over here away from his other net. And Sal, no reason you shouldn't be joining into Zoom here. You know how to get in.
Thanks for the invite.
All right. Feel free to unmute yourself and share your thoughts.
You know, I screwed up big time. I didn't call on Mike, and I would have actually liked Mike to talk about. He's like a new repeater owner, right?
The geek?
You talking
The
about
geek.
the GMRS one?
Yeah, that counts, doesn't it?
1, 2, 3, 8.
It does count.
Yeah, so about that. So I got 2 radios, 2 Kenwoods TK, 860s. They're commercial radios, part 90 and 95. So, GMRS part 95 Echo. So they originally classified as, being able to be on the GMRS network or, frequency bands, whatever. But my problem was, I got these radios, I don't know how to hook them together.
Wait, where'd your audio go, Mike?
He vanished.
I thought that was just me.
Yeah.
No.
Mike.
Well, but we're going to blame it on you, Ryan.
Oh, he's coming back.
All right, so back.
There we go.
All right, I'm back. So anyway, I said, hey, I brought this stuff over. Kevin, can you help me out? And of course, he knows exactly how to do everything, ham radio and other. So with hooking these 2 things up together, we got them transmitting when one was receiving, which was awesome. And then it was now we got to get an antenna that works. Took a couple to get through before we found one that actually worked. And then we had to get I had a diplexer that I got on Amazon, and it was not tuning at all. It wouldn't pass what it needed to pass. It wouldn't block what it needed to block. So I sent that thing back and got my money returned. So we got another one, and it has some issues, but it works. And then Kevin's loaning me one in the meantime until we track down a better one. But so he also gave me a push-up pole so I can throw this antenna up and some coax. And so it's about 35, pushing 40 feet up at my garage. And it covers all of Vacaville. For the most part, everywhere I've tested it, I could get in. I went as far as Leisure Town and Elmira. There's a park over there. I had a little HT with me. I put it down to 1 watt. And Scratchy, my daughter said she could hear me. Then I bumped it up to the normal 5 watts, and it was crystal clear. So I thought that was pretty decent.
Awesome.
So if anybody wants to check that out, they're in Vacaville. It's on mygmrs.com. It's the only one in Vacaville.
Probably bad for YouTube, right?
Yeah, YouTube.
Yeah, the stream just froze.
Okay, I think we're back.
Turn it back on.
Yeah. I updated OBS before we went live. Fantastic idea. Oh well.
That's always the best thing to do.
But never reboot your computer or update right before you use it, because it will blow up.
I like living on the edge.
That's okay.
I haven't had many sports photography gigs here, as you can imagine, since March, and I went over to do an Oakland. Oakland was playing the Giants, and the same thing. I hadn't had my computer out in ages. I should have done all this the night before, but I'm a professional, so I show up and break out the computer, and I need to be uploading pictures of pitchers right after the first inning, and the first inning is about 15 minutes away, and the computer's telling me it's got 30 minutes to do upgrades. That was an interesting beginning of a game, I can tell you.
Man.
I replaced.
So we got new guys. We got some new folks joining us, or maybe they've been on. And Mike, are you a new guy? Yep, you're on mute, Mike. Look for your mute button. There we go.
Yeah, I'm new. Heard you guys on my handheld outside. It's pretty cool.
All right.
Where you located, Mike? What town?
I'm in Rancho Cordova in Sacramento.
Oh, cool. Well, see, we transmit into multiple zip codes, man.
Nice.
We got quite a few hams over there in Rancho Cordova.
Mm-hmm. And I want to say the digital connection to the node was quite large tonight as well.
Yeah. How many YouTube visitors did we peak at?
61, I think.
I saw 61.
Yep, 61. We still got 50, it looks like. But
That's
every time I speak, the number goes down 1, so I'm going to shut up.
All right, so
They're
Kevin.
tired.
That's not true. That can't be true.
So Kevin,
wait a minute. Now Ryan's picture came up and it dropped one more. No.
Oh, jeez.
It actually went up one when his picture came up. It went up. Oh, it's gone. I talked. It went down one.
Hey, got a question
Bert.
for Mike.
Go ahead, Mike.
Mike from Rancho Cordova, what's your call sign? I might have heard you before.
I'm not licensed. I'm studying for the technical test right now. I almost had an FRS license a long time ago, but I'm not currently licensed at this time.
Well, I wish you well, and I belong to North Hills Radar Club, K6IS repeater. So look for k6is.org when you get your license. Come on board, join our nets. I'm the net manager, net monitor, so feel free to come on board. And,
Pleasure to meet you.
And once you get your license, man, you're going to get the red carpet treatment from here. So we'll be ready for you, man.
Can't wait to get my ticket, guys.
Awesome.
You got this.
You got. I'm sorry. You got ham radio test prep on your phone, dude?
Yes.
Do you know who you know what VUC you're testing with?
No, I do not. Probably ARRL.
Where does anyone have a current site for online testing? I know that's a thing now.
hamstudy.org/sessions.
Okay, and that's for online stuff?
Right. Yeah, they have a list of pretty much all of the online capable testing sites there.
I used that myself, actually, when I got mine about 2 months ago and tested out of Columbia University. Some of the hams out there, they've got a really big club, and I think there's like 4 guys watching me while I did it, sitting right here, quite honestly.
Oh, good.
So it was a live. The proxies were live. They were watching you, right?
It was in a Zoom meeting, and as a matter of fact, I was sitting on this computer taking the test, and I had my phone in the Zoom meeting over here, kind of looking at me. They literally wanted to see my room, make sure there was nobody there. It was me and my dog, but he promised not to give me any answers. And I had a whiteboard because I work in this room as well, and they just told me to turn it around, even though they are like, there's nothing ham related on it. But yeah, it was rather easy.
Hey, who is a iPad expert? How can I change my name when I'm using the iPad in Zoom? I know how to do it on a computer, but I can't seem to figure. I want to put my call up there like I normally do.
Huh?
A small ball peen hammer.
I got one of those around here. So
yeah, just hit it, Chris. I have no idea.
All right, it was worth a try.
I got no idea.
What's an iPad? On that net, I tried to key up because I got a new radio too. I am one of those hams. And I think another reason why I don't talk on the repeaters as much as here is I'm kind of afraid to make a fool out of myself to people that I might see walking down the street, quite honestly.
What town
I know
live
quite a few of you guys live here too. I'm in Vacaville.
Dude.
I'm just over behind the nut tree. But
Oh, nice.
what I do
you don't
is
have
I
to
go
worry
to
about
DMR. I go to DMR or like D-Star, and I connect in Florida or talk to some crazy ass talk group from somewhere else. And if I make a complete fool out of myself, I'm not really ever going to walk in front of these guys. I'm never going to see them walking down the street.
They let Jason and I talk all the time. It's okay.
Nick says the cure to that is to have children, and he says now that he's got kids, he doesn't worry about making a fool out of himself anymore.
Yeah, not even a little bit. It's just gone.
Now, Greg, you're married, aren't you?
I am. I've got 3 boys of my own.
Yeah, right. That's what I was remembering. So, I mean, that is the worst case scenario is you're single and you really need to find that mate. But at this point, who
a ham radio license will not help you do that.
But it doesn't.
If you're using this to find a mate, you got big troubles.
Wrong pond, wrong pole.
So,
it's all, it's just all
but
wrong.
what I'm getting at is typically.
Most wrong, my friend.
I guess what I'm saying is,
you're killing me.
This goes back to that classic bar scene, right, where the beautiful young lady hits on the guy with the wedding ring because that's the person with the most confidence because he's already got it all together. He's not he doesn't have anything to lose, meaning he's not going after anything to get. So I don't know. This is going like way in the wrong, but anyways.
Well,
I was wearing my HT one day, and I had a stranger come up to me and say, "That's a really nice antenna you got there."
Yeah.
Nice. That sounds like game, dude. That sounds like game.
So I guess, Greg, what I'm just trying to tell you is, man, you've got it going on. It don't matter. And more than likely, they're not going to remember. And just, it's 2020. Just say, you know what? I'm sorry. It's 2020.
I am listening all the time. I actually heard you, Chris, earlier trying to sort out some stuff on the repeater. You're talking about tail squelch or something like that. And I'm writing down, I'm like, N6CMB. I'm like, that reminds me of that movie, the what's it called? Damn, Cash Money Brothers. It just came up in my head.
Cash Money Brothers. There you go.
I was wondering if you ever call that, dude.
No, that one hasn't. But I got to remember that. I might use that in the future.
When I was reading it, I'm like, oh, that sounds like a cool call sign. I would start calling N6 Cash Money Brother over here. Seems like a good way to break in.
Greg, you are the guy. Dude, you are the guy we're trying to get to you and Bert. I want to hear more Bert too.
More Bert for sure.
Or Bert. And I don't know. Where. And we're going to hear the new mic as soon as he gets his license, I'm sure. And then now, Rob, where are you? N6 RLM. Where are you located?
Hold on, babe.
Pardon me.
Sacramento, Carmichael.
Oh, okay. You can get in. I don't.
Rob's on regular.
Usually on the 3-3.
Oh, that one. Okay, fine.
See, look, Michael is so dedicated. He just completely ditched Zoom, and he's just on the radio now.
I think he's running a net.
He just couldn't wait. He's going after it.
Because I'm going to talk now.
Yeah.
Hey, where's this Alan Washington? We got the Coast Guard in the house.
His mic is muted.
See if he unmutes it.
You there, Alan?
I'm in Washington because of the Coast Guard. That's the reason I'm here. My mom and my dad were in the Coast Guard, and my mom got stationed here she was a lighthouse attendant. And
that's cool.
In Mukilteo, and that's how I ended up here. And so that's why we grew up here.
What do you do as a lighthouse attendant?
Well, so she was actually
hit the light on.
The funny thing is, it was like mainly she was the first female to be a lighthouse attendant there, so that was like a big deal. And she's got like a plaque on the wall in their visitor center and stuff. It's kind of neat. But essentially, you like change out the light bulbs or something. I don't know, mow the lawn.
What? You never asked your mom?
They're mechanical, electrical marvels, dude. Go on and watch one of those biographies about the history of the lighthouse.
Well,
there's several of them.
Lighthouses are cool. I mean, they're so they're not. I don't think they're ever really going to be used anymore. They're, for the most part, I think most lighthouses are all owned by like historical societies and stuff now, because with new age GPS and stuff, you just don't need them. But
the days of the lighthouse keeper are mostly over. It's all automated now, and so that job is probably not one to aspire to in the
just like a ham radio operator, right?
What? You better take that back, Bert.
Ham radio's growing.
Who's this guy?
Hey, Brandon, you hanging in there? You've been here since early. KK6 GFO?
He just walked away. He's making the sandwich. He's making a sandwich.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a computer I think he's got over there.
Spread
I think he's got
the peanut butter.
Some more gear rocking. Well, we'll see if we can get Brandon in on the conversation. He was here nice and early tonight. So
Hey, so I'd like to jump in for a second here. Richard E. He's here just about every week in the chat. He emailed me a question, so I wanna give this a read. So he built a new 80-meter, 282-foot, 5-sided loop, shaped like a home plate, in baseball. Oh, okay, very cool. Right. At the feed point, I have one of Kevin's Teflon-designed 1-to-1 coax wrapped choke on a single 240-31. So the 31, that's a toroid. From the feed point, I have 40 feet a 450 ohm ladder line down to a 4-to-1
radial
step down transformer. It too was a single 31 core. It worked perfectly at 100 watts, and I've made several international contacts over most of the HF bands. Sunday evening, I heard the Argentina station calling CQ and talking into the Midwest and West. I tried with 100 watts, but no luck. I decided to fire up the amplifier and tuned up briefly to about 700 watts. In seconds, my SWR was off the chart and just all over the place. Come to find out, I smoked the 4-to-1 Ballon that I believe was wound with 14 gauge THHN stranded. I am currently rebuilding a new 4-to-1 as I'm listening on the YouTube. So this was just tonight. He typed this out. With 2 stacked 31s wrapped with friction tape and with 14 gauge Teflon coated stranded on the 4-to-1. I have 50 feet of RG213 to my radio. My question is, do I have the 1-to-1 choke in the correct location and the 4-to-1 step-down transformer in the correct location, and do those 2 locations actually matter? That was a lot of reading. We almost need a diagram.
That step-down transformer definitely matters where that's at, right?
I have a question.
You can't answer a question with a question. That was the question.
No, I need to understand early on. Did I hear he has ladder line in there?
He does.
Yep. And the ladder line hooks directly to the antenna?
Feed point. Okay, so I have one of Kevin's coax single. From the feed point, I have 40 feet of 450 ohm ladder line down to the 4-to-1.
Oh.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he'd be better off the 1-to-1 current balance where he's got it, and then he's got 40 to 50 feet of coax. I wouldn't do that. What he needs to do, and I'll be happy to give him the specifications for it. He needs to wind about a 1.25 to 1. I think it's 1.25 to 1 because the feed point of that antenna, if my memory serves me correct, no hate mail please, I think it's around 150 ohms. So, or 125.
What's the name of that antenna, real quick?
It's just a loop. It's a delta. It's a loop, horizontal loop. He's got 282 feet, which you take 1004 and divide it by 3.8 megahertz. I come up with 264 feet. So he's probably got it tuned lower, but whatever. And so that feed point on that loop is going to be somewhere around. Excuse me, I misspoke already. It's over 100 ohms, 150 ohms. So you want to wind like a 2.25 to 1 Ballon, put it at the feed point, and then just run coax down. And then the coax, you don't want to accidentally, for 80 meters, you don't want to accidentally cut your coax at a quarter wavelength because that'll jack with you too. So just 50 feet of coax is not good. Keep it longer. Get it closer to 100 feet, and you'll be fine. I think that's what's happening. He just needs to get a better match, and then he can use that core he's got. That core he has, one of them wound with a 2.25 to 1. I think would be with coax going to it would probably behave a lot better. I actually have a book over here that shows exactly how to wind that core, and I think it worked. Another person to talk to about that is N6THN because he built the loop and he did a couple different ways to match it. But if he's trying to use it as a resident antenna just on 80 meters, that's how you do it. And then if you try to use it on other bands, it's going to do weird stuff.
Is Bruce using coax?
Yes.
To feed his loop? Okay.
Yep. But Bruce made a quarter wavelength matching stub out of 75 ohm cable, which is just okay to do too. But if you do the if you do the 2.25 or 2.5, whatever it is, in the neighborhood to 1, it takes that 125 ohms and brings it really close to 50 ohms, and then you just run the 213 into your radio. Just don't cut the 213 really close to a quarter wavelength at 80 meters, which is somewhere around 50 to 60 feet, depending on the velocity factor of the cable. So
now, Kevin, could you simply explain why or where you would want to use ladder line and where you wouldn't?
Well, ladder line is really is a great stuff, and it's very it's tolerant to SWR in a great way. So you can put a longer piece of it. What you just want to avoid is cutting it at quarter wavelength multiples, odd quarter. So in other words, don't accidentally make it 3/4 wavelengths at 40 meters. That would be weird. Do it something different. And then you run that cable back to your shack, and you run that up to your antenna, and you put a balanced tuner, a balanced to unbalanced tuner, and
so that's where the fuck that came from.
Yes,
balance.
Exactly. So you're going balanced to unbalanced. That's what the balance for. So now we're going to take this balanced line coming down to our shack, that at the end of it, depending on what frequency we're at, may or may not be 100% resonant, but we put it into a cool tuner and we match it, and that because you're using ladder line, it's quite what is that?
Looks like Mike has a Baofeng over there.
We're hearing other stuff. So the long ladder line is quite lossless, or very low loss, and it withstands a much higher SWR. And then your tuner, it's going to be a balanced to unbalanced, and there's going to be some kind of transformer in that tuner, and it needs to be a good one. So it's wound with the high temperature Teflon or PTFE wire or whatever that stuff is. And you might want it to be a dual core. So when you're taking, and it is a mismatch in your antenna and your wire is handling it, you want your tuner with your transformer to be able to handle that complex impedance match with a very high voltage. That's what happened to him. His core with the THHN wire, the ability of that THHN wire to handle that high voltage, I'm guessing it just arced over and smoked. Is because I didn't experiment with I had a 1,000-foot loop, and I fed it with about 100 feet of ladder line, and then I put a 1-to-1, put a balun on it, just like he did, and I used my amp and I put a KW into it, and I just kept keying the radio and watching it, and pretty soon the thing arced across because the insulation wasn't good enough. So then I took that one out, and I put the one in. Actually, it's right over here. I can get it later. It's a 4-to-1 balun that is double core, and it's wound with that high temperature wire. All my problems went away. It worked fine. So I don't know. That's really long-winded, isn't it?
No problem. No, that's all good stuff. I like it.
You just gotta, and you know what? You're gonna find other opinions, by the way.
Yeah.
This is the best way to do it. I have a friend in Idaho. He owns I think 10 or 12 acres, and he's got some wire beams and some loop antennas. He built his own 600 ohm wire ladder line. He made little telephone poles and put along his fence, and he just strung, I think he used electric wire, and he just strung it out there, and he pulled it with a turnbuckle with the insulator at each end to hold it kind of taut, and that goes up and feeds it. And then he ran it right down to his house, and he drilled 2 holes in his house, and he put PEX tubing or PVC pipe, and then he used brass rod in the middle of them and hooked it right to it. And inside his shack, there is a 600 ohm line, and he just went from there to his balanced tuner, and that's what he uses, man. And his loss is like next to nothing. But he's an antenna, by the way. My friend Ken is an antenna guru, So I'm not sure exactly what he did, but he made his own ladder line. And he goes out 200 or 300 feet. And he's loud on 40 meters, by the way.
Very good. Well, hey, let me open the floor. We got some people joining us. Would anyone questions? We can change subject. It's very open.
Yeah.
Kellen Graves joining.
I did.
What's happening, man?
Nothing much. I tried to do some APRS this last weekend. I went and did some deer hunting, and used my Android app to my Baofeng, and I've been able to successfully track my route once, but not again. Only if I push like the send track position,
okay,
will it actually pinpoint my location. But I haven't been able to replicate it. Is it too glitchy?
Has it got to do with your coverage out there because you got sketchy coverage when you're hunting?
Well, I've been able to do it once. I actually went scouting a month ago, and I was actually able to save the route, or more or less, like my wife could check where I was. But this last time, I tried to set it up again, and it would only send like my current position or where I was, but it wouldn't track my actual route. So I don't know if I just had a setting incorrect or what.
And, you know, I've been messing with APRS lately myself, and I set up a little gateway. I don't have a whole lot of coverage, maybe 3 or 4 miles around my house, but even driving around with the APRS enabled HT and then looking at my route afterwards, it ends up being like a straight line and nothing else. So I think the tech is super cool. I think there's I think it could be coverage. I think it could be like, you know, a matter of a packet getting in and then one knot. And, you know, even over RF, you know, packet radio is not, I don't really see it much different than like regular TCP IP. It's just that, you know, packets will get broken and you're just not going to get it all, you know, spotty RF or whatnot. This is what I've kind of been seeing as I've been messing around with it. And I'm sorry I missed last week's session. I watched it a couple days later. It was really interesting. Really interested in that stuff these days.
Now, what's your interval? You're getting straight lines. Are you updating every 30 seconds or every minute?
Well, I've got a dedicated machine that's way too much for just running, Direwolf, TNC, and just APRS IS 32 is what I'm running right now. So I don't really think it's so much here, but like, yeah, I mean, my settings are at like maybe a minute and a half or 2 minutes.
Okay.
I really hadn't done so much on the HT that I was walking or driving around with. But yeah, it looks like straight lines today. But I'm constantly kind of messing with it. Probably way too much because it sits right here in front of me. So.
No, I like it. That's cool. Yeah, I noticed if you're not updating quick enough, you drive further than you think you are. And so it's playing the game, connect the dots. And that's, I found straight lines when I just do 5 minutes and I'm on the highway, but the highway's turning slightly. You know, you'll travel some distance in 5 minutes. But
I was just cruising around here, and I think it put me straight line from Browns Valley to Midway up there, and it just kind of ended. And then all of a sudden, my beacon was out of my house again. So I'm sure I've got some stuff to work out. I know that my RF here is pretty pathetic. I mean, I'm just kind of testing off of a little Baofeng anyway. So, and I've got a little ladder line Kevin Fong antenna hooked up to it, kind of on the side of my house. So I know if I'm going to be serious about this, I'm thinking like a preamp or something a little more with a little more oomph to pull in data. I'm not trying to digipeat right now. I'm just trying to iGate and get RF and add to the network. So trying to be simple about it, not put too much technical garbage in it to confuse the hell out of me. So. Right.
Yeah, come to find out, there is a APRS repeater, station up on Mount Vaca, and it's just been down for a lot of years. Bob Hawkins, a member of our club, recently emailed me, reached out, and kind of clued me in on this. I had no idea. So he's working some channels, working some individuals right now, trying to learn a little bit more about that. So, very soon we could have something on Mount Vaca. I'm not sure, what kind of repairs need to happen and that kind of thing, but I thought that was cool, especially since we lost one in Santa Rosa. And I know here in Vacaville, I was hitting that Santa Rosa station. That was putting my Jeep with the 400 in it on the map. So,
yeah, I've been looking at packets, honestly, on this sort of thing, and we are sadly missing infrastructure here in the valley between Sacramento and, I think the biggest iGate repeater I see is Contra Costa. And looking at, the kind of, and I mean, we're fortunate, all these people in the peninsula and up to Santa Rosa, they seem to have a ton of infrastructure out there. And they're I think we're getting all the advantage of it, just kind of where we're at in Vacaville, without any infrastructure. But I'm kind of a geek like that. I like building craft, and I think it'd be cool to just at least get maybe a digipeater down here.
Yeah.
Because I see people actually connecting here, or they're going to Sacramento, or they're going to Pleasanton. That's where their packets are flowing. So I think it'd be cool to have something in town, just for the sake of doing it.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I'm gonna follow Bob Hawkins, see what he can find there, or maybe we can put something in town. Probably Will. Will has some of a very high tower. K6 SRX.
W6 SRX.
Oh, he's a W. Dang it. I liked him better as a KM6.
I have a dumb.
Tell him you don't like him anymore.
Kevin, was that something you had?
No, I have a dumb question.
Oh.
Because so APRS Digipeater, can we, just like on Packet, can you have multiple systems on the same frequency and they just navigate each other?
Greg, I want you to take this one.
I mean, I know from the stuff that I'm looking at, dependent, iGate is one way, Digipeat's both directions. We got duplex in that manner. So
yeah,
I'm literally trying to do just repeat or just iGate right now, just to make sure that I'm not causing too much stupid traffic on the IT side of things, on the wired set. But I don't see the big jump. I mean, looking at Direwolf, looking at some of these software applications to do this sort of stuff, it's a comment or two, as long as you have your hardware in place and you're registered with a password over there. It's rather simple, I think, on the IT side. I think the RF side is where I'm sorely lacking.
So you have the lack of a better word, you have the node or the connection into the IT infrastructure, and what you need is a way to go from there into the RF side to get us out, so that the community in Vacaville and Fairfield could use it. Exactly.
I mean, that's really where I'm at with my build right now. I think it's really just managing the RF side.
Oh, if your location at your home, you had a radio or a radio that got you out on the RF side, and then could we put a digipeater up so that everybody else could take on the RF side, could take advantage of what you've built?
Absolutely. So, I mean, these things are rather simple too. I mean, doesn't have to necessarily be here. I do like my location because of the intersect between the 80 and the 505. I don't really think. But the RF, there.
That's I'm trying to wrap. That's why I said it was a dumb question. I'm trying to wrap my head around it. I'm trying to wrap my head around it. So if you have that system at your house and it's working, and we just have a digipeater up there that's just repeating what you're doing. You leave your stuff at your house, and then the repeater just extends it so that, say, I could use it in Fairfield and Jason could get into it from work, in his mobile or something. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the software side is the footprint's not very big. My side of it is I'm repeating off. I'm really like a 3-watt little Baofeng that I'm actually pulling RF on, and that's definitely not big enough to really be useful. But yeah, you're on it, dude. You're definitely on it.
If you would just talk to us on the repeater and meet up with us, I know somebody that's got a pile of heavy stuff that would be very beneficial to you guys.
All right, Greg, I am beaconing.
Are you?
I'm beaconing. Yeah, I just ran and turned my Jeep on.
It's too bad. I hooked up this computer I'm talking on right now, and I unplugged that computer. my thing's off right now.
Okay, can you put? This can be done on like a Pi 4 too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we could get.
I was trying to be cool and put it on an old machine, but yeah.
But what about those new? I don't know what they're called. Mini baby pies, Mike. You know the one that you got.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he ordered one of those rock chip 64s. So
that'd be really cool if it worked on that.
I followed Mike down the hole and got one of these.
So now you got to figure out if it works, because Mike said it hardware interface doesn't quite work for AllStar, which is that still true, Mike?
Yeah, so it's missing like a bunch of stuff, and I might just be able to find a different OS, and it might work better. But the one that I've got is the latest one, and it's missing a bunch of stuff that you need for creating your own source code or creating a program from source code. It's just there's something wrong with it. So,
well, it's got to be built for dummies like me, so I can. Because dude, you guys are so. I want to hang out with you guys to get better at the IT side. Because that's my weak point.
There's no hope for boomers.
Kevin, Mike's been telling me I need to hang out with you to learn how to do the RF stuff. So it's a mutual exchange, bro.
I mean, I know enough about the IT. I mean, it was pretty funny. I met with Mike, and he learned everything I knew about AllStar in like 8.2 minutes, and we were done. And after that, it was all Mike. So. I'd love to. The APRS thing interests me, and I've got I have a couple ideas in my little brain that might help. And we're all on 2 meter VHF doing this, right?
Yes, I'm
doing it on 2 meter. I think it's 143. I don't know the frequency off the top.
That's all right, dude. We got.
It's definitely two meters.
What if we built a 100-watt digipeater and just slammed everybody?
They'd hate us. We get emails.
We'll get, and then it'll be your call, and you'll get the hate email.
Now, I will tell you this.
You could just turn messaging off too. I've already done that.
Yeah. So Bob Hawkins, I think, is very interested, especially for the CART efforts, because when you're doing an emergency response effort, you can see all these call signs in real time on the map and be able to coordinate. Okay, we just got a call on this road. Who's our closest, truck, horse trailer, etc. And not to mention, our buddy from last week, he was putting up road closures up in.
Saw that, too.
Yeah, did you see that? He was dropping all these
on
road.
APRS now, yeah.
Yeah, he was dropping all these road closures on APRS. So if you're into it and you're looking at that map, you're gonna see all these updates. He's dropping like breadcrumbs. Just to give you a heads up what's going on.
That's really cool, guys. And I kind of know who Bob Hawkins is. Maybe I'll look him up. See, we'll see if we can't do something.
Yeah, because
that would be super cool.
Well, that would mean that Greg. Here we go, Greg. Now you got to become a member of Solano County OES, the ACS, the Auxiliary Communications Service branch, and then we can teach you the secret handshake.
Your wife's gonna hate you.
Yeah, and then and then we can help. And once you do that, we can divulge some secret squirrel spots and that kind of thing. But until then, sorry, dude, can't tell you nothing.
Hey, Kevin, I think we should probably create at this point like a spouse group. Because in the Air Force we had the officer wives, or we had the military spouses, and I'm thinking if we all run out and join OES and do all this cool stuff, our spouses might need this support group simply to get together and just complain about us.
I know. because you know what's going to happen is you get guys like Greg and you and Bert and all you cats that know how to do this cool stuff, and you sign up with ACS. Well, ACS is the communications leg, and what's happening is CART is also under the Solano County Sheriff's Department, and they're looking for members that from the ACS or ham radio people that will help them with this. And quite honestly, man, if they had 4 or 5 cats from ACS that were sworn in under for under the Sheriff's Department, you can just automatically go help ACS with comm, and you're covered. Because it's all about paperwork, insurance, all that crap, So once you do that, you're in, and you don't have to be. So you can show up to an event, and you don't have to be vetted because you already are. Like with me, I'm not a CART member, but I'm an ACS member, and I've been vetted, and I've done all the stuff so I can drive the vehicles and stuff. So I can show up to a CART event and just say, "You guys need some help with your comm?" And they go, "Yeah, help program these radios," which I did in the parking lot. And I just programmed radios and answered a few questions. That's all they needed from me. And then other people that were amateur radio operators that were deeper into the organization, they were driving their vehicles and they were going out and helping. And here's the part all I know is they went out in the field where people like Bob directed them to help the folks that needed the help. And people like us, we're the tech guys that can run the radios, run traffic for them, and set up this APRS thing to input the locations and put them up. They'd love you guys forever for that, because they're looking for those kind of people. And the CART people, they're working tonight. They're somewhere. I couldn't tell you where, but they're out there. They get the communications guys. Yeah, we don't get called out hardly at all. But CART people, they get called out, and they need communications. So it's a great opportunity to use your stuff.
Absolutely. Hey, so let's see. I was gonna. The one Brandon. He just bounced. I was gonna check in with the Brandon and Brandon, but now we just have the Brandon. Brandon, how's it going? You're looking pretty orange behind you.
Yeah, man. I mean, I took this picture the other day. You got desert sunrise and all that. Lots of smoke and crap down here in SoCal. But as I was saying in the chat, it's like been pretty smoky down here, but it kind of cleared up a little bit. We had that Bobcat fire in the San Gabriels between here and LA. It kind of cleared up, and now you guys are getting it again. So it seems to be back and forth out here. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, we're working on some smoky wine right now. All that's up there.
I don't mean to break in there, but I hear right now that there might be a fire out Pleasant Valley way out by Peña and Dobie.
Oh, whoa, really?
Really?
Let's see. There's a camera that sits up there. I don't know.
Maybe it's not. No, I've heard some bad information. It just smells smoky here all the time. It's a constant barbecue at my house.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
sure.
I got to get going because I got a call coming in from my son here in from Texas about some business stuff we're doing, and I told him I'd be done at 9, and he's going to call me any second. So it's been a pleasure hanging out with everybody, but I got to go. Okay.
All right.
So nice to see all of you, Mike.
Kevin.
Mike, with your gonna get your license, and Rob and Brandon and all you happening, and you too, Nick. Okay, I don't want to leave you out.
Oh, thanks.
Nick too. Yeah, Nick and Bert. So and this Brandon up here, KK6GFO. I'm not sure what he's doing. He and his dog are doing something cool over there in his laboratory or something. So didn't get to say hi
like
to
he's
him.
baking a pie right now.
Oh man.
Maybe I'm just hungry.
I think he's in Tracy. Is that too far to drive to right now?
I don't know. It's
He's not cooking, I don't think. He's got computers and electronics over there.
Oh, okay.
Hey, I'm sorry, but I think I broke in on Brandon from LA there. I think
Hey guys, I'm out of here.
Totally cut him off.
No worries. Hey, see you later,
I
Kevin.
apologize, Steve.
Sorry, Brandon from LA. I didn't mean to. I think I was the one that did that.
I think it was me, quite honestly. I apologize.
Okay.
Kevin, I'm going to ping you later.
Okay. Bye, guys. We'll
I'm
chat
going to blame
later.
it on Kevin too.
Yeah,
we'll train you guys. We'll train you guys for the 3-3, and you'll see there's never any apologies. You just start going, and just keep rolling right through other people.
There's winning and there's defeat. That's it.
Good night.
So I don't know how it goes over there. Although I've heard it on the recorded sessions.
The Broadcastify.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's entertaining at times.
Yeah. But no, it's great down here. Just getting settled in, moved from Hawaii and bought the house and everything's in boxes, but we're figuring it out. But good to finally get up, talk to you guys. It's been a while.
Yeah, excellent, man.
Hey, anybody hear from Justin lately?
I just messaged him and said we miss him.
All right, cool.
We'll see where he's at, but I liked having him on here. I hope he comes back.
Yeah, hopefully we can just make sure he's all cool and everything's good.
Hey, if you guys were curious about the Mount Vaca repeater system, the newest one that's going to be repaired and started up is going to be the Sacramento YOLO Crosslink.
Okay. And that is what's the call on that?
I'm not sure at this time. I'm sure I could look at my chart.
No worries. Is that the one that was destroyed by the fire?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. That's the guy, I think his name is Steve. He's in Dixon that runs that one.
Yeah, man, I feel pretty bad for that guy. He lost 3 repeaters plus a crosslink. Yeah. So if I'm thinking of the right guy, that's the guy that would pretty much turn his radio to the simplex channel when, let's say, Derek the Green Donkey's up there, and all of a sudden you could hear Derek and everyone else he's talking to on 14652 utilizing this 70 centimeter repeater. He was able to turn to different frequencies. I thought it was just so cool. But yeah, I know. I'm currently, I like to look at, if you guys are not aware, the alertwildfire.org website. I'll drop a link. But man, I've been kind of keeping an eye on that because I think it's some of the quickest information you're going to get as far as where are the active hot fires, and what it is it's a series of cameras sitting on top of mountaintops, and I was kind of showing that earlier during the show as well. Also, if anybody out there listening still in the chat lives in Sacramento or Rancho, the local fire IBM True Voice automated dispatch system is 154190.
Got it. Yeah. Wow, looks like we got a pretty hot one here at the Atlas Peak. Okay, so I'm sharing it on YouTube. So that is sitting kind of up towards Lake Berryessa. Kind of like a west direction of Lake Berryessa. There is some pretty hot flames up there right now. I thought that was all done. Yeesh. Yeah. Well, hey, what else is going on?
Is that glass fire going on up there in
well, I think
St. Helena and stuff, right?
No, this is something else. Because the glass fire was much higher. Well, maybe it is. You know what? Maybe it is because we're looking over from one mountaintop to the next. I think, okay, you're right. I think we are seeing some St. Helena fire there. But it's I mean, it's a big old,
that's horrible, dude.
Big old glow right now. I'm showing on YouTube. Jeez. Yeah, heck of a year. Can't catch a break. And man, I feel for all those firefighters just constantly working. Hopefully they don't quit next year, because I know I'd be burned out. Man. All right. Ryan, your body is looking like the globe. What's going on? We got some flat earth going on there?
No, if there's an option in the Zoom virtual background, you can enable it. You can enable it so that it says like you have a green screen, and then you pick the color. And so I picked the color of my shirt, and now it's like this.
All right,
dude, that's awesome.
Floating head. Well, we have one guy wearing no shirt and one guy wearing the globe. So right on.
Hey, why is Pirate Brian so late tonight showing up? What's going on there, mister?
Yeah, why don't you have a better haircut?
Yeah, I need a haircut desperately.
You still got a girlfriend?
No,
Yeah.
he didn't.
Yeah, I don't know how she's still with me, but yeah. That camera, by the way, on Atlas Peak, that's looking to the west of Lake Berryessa.
Right.
It is the glass fire. It was the 3 fires that merged into one. There's no way it can push into the valley because it's right next to where the LNU complex fire burned. So there's nothing to burn because it's already charred.
Ah, there's no fuel.
So it can't. Yeah, there's no fuel.
All right, well, I'm going to hold you to it. How about a Brandon up there? I think he's been making something. KK6 GFO from Tracy. How's it going, Brandon? You can unmute yourself if you like. Here we go. He's coming up.
Let's see if this works. It's the first time I've used this. This is my SDR computer.
Yeah, you're sounding good.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's going to work.
Dude, we all want to know what you're building back there. Some kind of crazy contraption or something.
A robot.
No, I've got customers' computers I'm working on, and then a couple of other little projects. I don't know. Let's see if I can swing this to 24-inch.
Please tell me it's AM4 hardware.
These guys they thought you were baking a cake. I said, I don't think he's baking a cake.
No, let's see. I don't know if that works. Does that work over there?
Yeah, we're seeing it.
I've got a small little bench over there that I work on electronics, radio equipment, and just other electronics where all my soldering stuff is.
Okay.
And I've got a couple of batteries that I'm working on balancing out for the scooters that are sitting back over here. And then back in the other sections, the big mess of computers, just little stuff that I'm working on right now.
And these are all paying gigs?
No.
Yeah.
The computer, a couple of the computers there on the benches are paying.
Okay.
The scooter batteries are just our personal toys.
Well, very cool, man. You got a lot of cool stuff going on.
I keep thinking one of these days I'll get a Mac where Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say that's quite a big man cave there, dude. That's huge.
Yeah, it's
Awesome.
smaller than I used to have, but it works.
Is that a modified garage?
No, this is actually my office. It's a add-on to the house.
I like your style.
I keep thinking one of these days I'm going to have a night where I can actually be out here and talk, but every time this comes around, it usually ends up being some kind of project that I'm working on.
All right, and then looks like Mike is sharing his computer. Very nice. Did you custom build that, Mike? And you're muted right now, so you have to unmute.
Yeah, I did this AM4 system, Ryzen 3.
We lost your video though.
Yeah, my phone's a little weird. I got a GTX 1060 in there. Afterburner is life. I used to be a Bitcoin miner, so I understand the intricacies of GPU overclocking.
All right, did you make some money?
Yeah,
on
what
the
were
stock
you mining?
market, yes.
With
actual mining, no.
No?
'Cause I only have 10 series hardware.
All right. I've got some coworkers that keep telling me I need to get on that train, but I, haven't yet.
Ethereum, Bitcoin, Bitcoin Gold, Zcash, and Monero, a little bit of XRP Ripple. Yeah, that's the good stuff.
What do you think about that YFI stuff that's Yearn Finance that went up from like $30 to like 30 grand in a month?
How do you pick a coin to mine, dude? I mean, that's a smorgasbord of encrypted cash over there. How do you pick the one that's really going to pop, right?
Well, you can take a look at the stocks, and it goes up and down, fluctuates in real time. Within the next 60 days, you might actually be switching over to a cryptocurrency, so kind of interesting. But yeah, it is volatile. XRP Ripple and BTC, the original Bitcoin, is the most profitable coin. Zcash is coming up in behind, and Ethereum is third.
That's
Hey,
interesting.
Ryan, you need to
stuff,
get off that stock market and get going on some Bitcoins. Get rid of those PG&E stocks you've been riding.
Yeah, probably not.
Hey, I got a question for you guys. An SDR question.
Yeah, shoot.
All right. This is going to sound really stupid. So I got the RTL SDR blog, the version 3 or the V3 with the dipole antenna, right? So I have it outside on the second floor, but it's outside in a V configuration. I was trying to pick up an FM radio station. It's like an NPR station, a local, like an 88.1 or something. And it's real staticky, like on the waterfall. It looks real crappy. It's hard to pick up. But if I go outside of the car and this little antenna and turn it on, it picks it up. And it's like kind of staticky, but it I can hear it driving into work, but not hear very well. So I was kind of wondering, do you think that they have like a good band pass filter in the car? Like it's set up for FM radio specifically, and that I'm kind of missing something like that? Or what do you think's going on with the SDR?
My guess is QRM.
Yeah, the other thing that, you know, I experimented quite a bit trying to pick up a local repeater. Well, it's, you know, maybe 30 miles away, is you're using the little rabbit ears, right? The little telescoping rabbit ears that came with it.
Yes, and actually I've noticed that they're very sensitive to whether or not they're horizontally polarized or vertically, or if you twist them around. But regardless of how I turn them, like old TV, you know, you kind of go for the static.
Yeah.
I can't get it to come in clear no matter what.
So,
dude, my RTL SDLR is exactly the same way. The Newelec, same way, dude.
Yeah, so one thing that, you know, we kind of execute or practice in ham radio and don't really realize sometimes is we're very concerned about the antenna we're using to transmit, in that we want it to be resident. And that is also very true for the receiving. So when you're just kind of flipping that telescoping bunny ears around, you know, it's by just pure happen chance that you find that match. So in other words, you know, some experimenting with an SWR meter and figuring out what frequency you want and getting a resonant antenna or as close as you can will benefit you to bring in that signal. So there could be that, and then how hot is the dongle getting? Because I noticed my dongle in the summer gets hot.
Yeah, it gets hot.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a result, because I'm not transmitting, obviously, so I don't know if it's a result of just the USB powering it. But yeah, it does get hot. And actually, you're right. Maybe if I shorten it, it would be better, because it's shortened, but it has obviously you can see through it. It's a wire loop around it.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I'm not real.
If you're using SDR Sharp, turn down the samples per second under like 300 samples per second, or like under a gigasample. And mine tops out at 3 gig samples, and yeah, it gets really hot because of that. Lower the gigasamples, lower the heat.
Also, what's the bandwidth set to?
Well, I was using cubic because I'm on Mac. I'm not real sure. I'd have to fire it up, but
if you're trying to listen to broadcast FM, you've got to use a wide FM setting because it's super wide compared to like the 25 kilohertz that we use for this stuff.
Yeah, well, I can see it on the waterfall, right? So like I make sure I reach out wide enough to capture it all. And there's presets like regular FM or narrow, whatever. Obviously not narrow, that would be too narrow. But yeah, it's something real crappy, and it's kind of interesting because you go outside of the car and you're like, how is that going to pick it up really well? It's like obviously specifically designed for FM radio, but what is it doing that my SDR is not doing?
I use HDSDR on the computer here, and I don't remember if it has a wide FM setting or not, but some of the SDR software specifically has a wide FM setting, and I don't know if just setting the filters to be wide enough is quite the same thing. It just depends on the software. I don't know about Cubic.
Yeah, okay. I've also noticed a lot of bleed over in higher frequencies from an FM broadcast station all the way up into the sometimes into the 200s. So it's pretty weird. It's like a loop, you know.
Wow. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe a lot of you guys are watching the YouTube feed. So our friend Richard, I read his question/story earlier to Kevin. He just sent me a picture of his Balun that he built and wound, and he said he's got Chernobyl in a box. I don't know if any of you guys in Zoom not see that. Can you not see YouTube?
Nope.
Oh yeah, the elephant's foot, dude.
I can probably. There we go. Now you guys can see it in Zoom.
So, what did the new update do to Open Broadcaster? Anything new?
The OBS? Is that the question?
Yeah, dude.
Well, I don't know, other than giving me problems. There's a few new tabs and boxes here, and I see there's something called Start Virtual Camera. I don't know what that is, but it has glitched 2-3 times tonight, so hopefully that'll settle down.
I'm using a virtual camera right now through OBS. So it's basically just like a camera emulator. So you, instead of using just a webcam attached to your computer, you're using a webcam that OBS is picking up, and then you're telling your computer that OBS is a webcam source, basically. So Zoom is looking at my OBS application to stream.
Oh.
So like if I want, and the only reason I do that is because I'm not streaming right now, right? So I can, if I wanted to pop in, like I could fluctuate my screen or whatever really rapidly. Like I don't have to take over the entire screen share. I could just share my screen on my own window right now, and I could pop in, my auxiliary camera or something like that.
Okay.
What's OBS?
OBS is
Open Broadcasting System.
Yes.
I'm not a computer guy. So
it's a piece of software that you can kind of build out what you want to show on YouTube, especially live. It's primarily to use a live. So then you build this piece of software, and then you tell it to go live onto YouTube, and then you tell YouTube to go, and then that's kind of how we're doing this. So
you get your stream key and then patch it into OBS and then set your upload rate depending upon how good your internet is and your bandwidth, so your stream looks good. And yeah, there's less than a 2-second lag. I use OBS frequently for some of my broadcasts.
Well, what do you do, Mike, on YouTube?
Just Let's Plays, computer overclocking, video card stuff.
Oh, very cool.
Some Bitcoin things, reviews. Just the usual. Type Tech Baron into YouTube. Look for the Galaxy. Yeah, baby.
What's your channel called?
Tech Baron.
Okay.
BARRON, and then it's just the Galaxy logo.
Very cool. Well, what else is on people's mind tonight? I'm going to be wrapping this up here in a few, but I want to make sure I give everybody an opportunity to say something.
Getting back to Brandon's SDR a little bit, how's the IF selectivity done on those little things? Is it can it, if you're getting that broadcast stuff and you got you probably got strong stations around.
Yeah, I mean, what's weird that I get. Hold on, let me turn this video back on. I get I set a center frequency, and then it seems like the receive frequency is always off. Like if I tab it up or down, I always have to go back and change the receive frequency. But to your point, there are some pretty strong stations out here. And what's funny is that other one is just up the hill, up the road, but there's some terrain in between. And that's where I initially contributed the lack of signal to, but the freaking car can pick it up, and that's the weirdest thing. So I'm not sure.
All right.
Interesting, yeah. And the other thing I become aware of is, as far as those little gray dongle RTL SDR, is there is some fake ones out there, and I don't know how obvious it is on Amazon. So mine died after 6 months, but it was living in a garage that gets easily 100 degrees quite a bit in the summer, and I had it on 24/7 because that's how I was putting a repeater on Broadcastify. So I killed it, and it was never that great. I since went to a scanner and using a mag mount antenna, and the scanner, it comes in so much better. It's an old Bearcat Uniden. So yeah, I don't know. They're great, like $30, I'm guessing, Brandon, you paid for it. So, I mean, that's cool to play with.
Yeah, exactly. It's just something to mess around with because it's like $20-$30,
Yeah.
and you get some of the different antennas to mess around with and stuff. So it's not likely that it's going to be super high quality, but it's on par with some of the other ones, and I just thought I'd mess around with it. But I saw Steve Palmer's comment in the YouTube that says that the Blog V3 is deaf. You need a preamp and an input filter. So I might check that out. I probably won't put too much money into this. I'd probably just get SDR, This was like my initial volley on it, but it was good to mess around with.
Definitely.
Jason, you need to handle your dongle with a little more care, I think.
I know, Chris. I gave it no
It's all
love.
the angle of the dangle, man.
It was in the garage all alone, just getting all hot day after day.
The substrate cooked.
Yeah.
It's just, a dongle deserves better. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep. And so, and what's crazy, I'm running an old Dell. It kind of looks like a cheese grater Dell. I forget. It's the classic.
Awesome. That's cool.
It's the classic county computer that they used in 2012.
HP Vectras.
Yeah, and I haven't killed it.
God,
and it's
a Vectra. That's from like the early 2000s, late 90s, dude. Dating myself there.
Oh, it's a Optiplex.
Good times.
Yeah, Ryan, he just cracks himself up, man.
Yeah. So I'm currently.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to do that in my next meeting tomorrow for work. Do one of those. Right? That is pretty cool.
Oh, you're blending right in there. Okay.
Yeah, he completely disappeared and his head is just laughing.
Yeah.
Because he took a picture.
I don't know about you guys, but I need to turn it in tonight. I got virtual Europe in the morning, so.
No, for sure. Yeah, my alarm clock is going off, but don't worry, guys. We'll be back next week with a new topic. We don't even know what it is,
and we won't.
So let us know if you're out there watching or anybody. We're in Discord chatting quite a bit throughout the week. If you want to talk about something or hear something, by all means, let us know. But somebody will figure it out in the nick of time.
There are a few ideas people have thrown up in the Discord channel. I think we have the net ideas or whatever.
Okay.
Maybe we should actually look through it and consider talking about one.
All right. We'll pay closer attention about that. Thank you.
We'll put Nick in charge of that.
Well, tonight Nick wanted to talk about ham gifts for Christmas, and I'm like, dude, you're as bad as Costco.
So, you guys got to know that Nick already has his Christmas lights up.
I don't.
I was joking.
Are you using them as an antenna, though? Or did you put a tuner on them?
I know. I said I was going to set my Christmas lights up, so I had an excuse to get on my roof and put a bigger antenna up.
Nick's lights are up in an inverted V.
Yeah.
We will or we can talk about cool Christmas ideas, especially cheap ones. I'm sure.
International Space Station.
You want to buy the space station?
No, I want to try to contact the new Kenwood unit that's up there.
Oh yeah, little crossband repeat for sure. Cool. Yeah, so we'll get to that as we get closer to Christmas and all that jazz. But
yeah.
All right,
talk
everyone.
About actually turning your Christmas lights into an antenna.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
Activate with your Christmas lights, man.
You're gonna need some older ones, not that new fancy LED stuff. For sure.
Wasn't that a thing where people would hook up like an LED light to their to the end of their antenna to get it to light up?
Not an LED. Was it LED or was it a incandescent?
Just an incandescent light.
I think an incandescent.
Filament bulb.
That's right. You want some good old tungsten.
Well, I've heard of people using that to try to make like a dead cell at the end, so they can power it up, right?
Right.
You know, check your SWR against the light and stuff.
Essentially, it's a great dummy load. Absolutely.
Yeah, dummy load. Excuse my
Yeah.
terminology there, but yeah.
You guys ever heard the sound of a mechanical antenna tuner?
Essentially, it's in the 991A. When you hit tune, it just goes clack, 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 clack.
It's
clack,
in
clack,
the
clack.
7300. It's in
Yeah.
the KX2.
Is
It's in
that
the
the
KX3. It's in the X5105. It's in the G90. It's in the 7610, I think.
I love that sound so much.
All right.
Ryan.
Sound of the relays.
All night.
We've got Doogie Howser in the house.
Yeah, it's awesome, dude, Brett.
Well, right on, guys. Excellent. I'm going to shut it down from here. I hope everyone can come back and join us next Wednesday. Tell all your family and friends how cool we are. And maybe we'll get a date for somebody yet. All right, guys. Good night.
Will do, man.
All right. I'm going to end stream. Good night, guys.
Night.
7-3.
Good night.
7-3.
Night.